Hello everyone and welcome to what is probably the most requested game over the past few days on this channel. You guys requested it many times and as usual for very good reasons. It is Aravindh Chithambaram versus Wei from round 3 of this year's Prague International Chess Festival. And I thought as usual that you guys are exaggerating, but no, this is this is one incredible game and I'm very happy to share it with you. And we will also show another game that you guys requested, but we're going to talk about that after we check out the game. So Aravindh with white opens with pawn to d4. We have knight to f6 by Wei, pawn to c4, e6, knight to f3, and pawn to d5. So the standard queen's gambit declined, knight to c3, and bishop to b4. Wei opts for the Ragozin defense, and there are many interesting ways you could counter the Ragozin, not counter or maybe deal with the Ragozin. Bishop to g5 being the most popular. You could capture on d5, you could go queen to b3, you could go queen a4 check, you could go e3, you know, any move is the move here basically. And queen to b3, the move Aravindh plays is the 5th most popular continuation here, which just asks, okay, what do you do with the bishop here? And this is well, it has been played in many top-level games. For example, Magnus Carlsen defeated Temur Radjabov in the Skilling Open in 2020 with this queen to b3 move. So pawn to c5, defending the bishop, also putting pressure on the white center. We have d captures on c5, and now knight to c6. So we've messed up white's pawn structure a little bit, and you are defending your bishop on b4. We have bishop to g5 and queen to a5, putting more pressure on that knight and preparing knight to e4, as you have so conveniently unpinned from the bishop. And of course, white will not allow that. White will capture on f6. This is the only move that is ever played in this position. Not the immediate G captures. You have to always be mindful of those automatic recaptures. First, a nice Zwischenzug D captures on c4. You attack the white queen, because if you capture the bishop right away, then white could play C captures on d5, and this is much more precise. Queen captures, we have G captures on f6, and rook to c1, adding another defender here, and now black just reclaims the pawn. Queen captures on c5, where you could trade queens, but you already destroyed black's defenses on the king side. It's very unlikely that black will castle queen side. No reason to trade queens here, and we are still in theory. Queen to h4, the most popular move. We have queen to f4 here, second most popular, going after f6, and now king to e7. Now, if you're wondering why such a move with the king, well, you could go back queen to e7, but then you challenge the bishop, and okay, then you have to decide, do you capture, do you go back bishop to d6, then the queen goes to h6, and it's a pretty weird position that no one ever plays, and for a very good reason. It's just not good. So king to e7, we are still in theory, and now pawn to g3, preparing to fianchetto the light square bishop. And the game that we discussed, Magnus Carlsen versus Temur Radjabov, bishop captures on c3 check was played, and like I said, Magnus won that game. Here we have pawn to e5, and those are the two top engine moves in the position, where you chose the other one, pawn to e5. We have queen to e4, and now comes a new move in the game. Interestingly, the move has been, not this move, but the position has been reached in 2020 or in 2021 in Norway Chess Open section between Vitaly Kunin and Gukesh Domaraju. Gukesh played bishop to e6, and he won not just that game, but he also won the Norway Chess Open section in 2021. You know, remember, it was the time where he won like 2 consecutive tournaments in over the course of maybe 2 weeks. So very impressive. You know, back when Gukesh wasn't even invited to the challengers or the masters, he was, you know, he played the open section. Not that it's the same tournament, but you know, it's very unlikely that you will have a world champion playing an open tournament. Not that he was a world champion back then, but you know what I mean. You know, he was still young. And yeah, he played bishop to e6 and he won a very nice game. But here we have bishop captures on c3 with check, and it is now only as of move 13 that we have a completely new game. Okay, b captures on c3. Rook captures on c3 seems more natural, but then you go after the b2 pawn, and you could even maybe sacrifice with bishop to g2 captures, but then your rook would be hanging, so it can be played, but it's very complicated, as is this entire game. So after b captures, bishop captures, we have b captures, and now bishop to e6, putting pressure on the a2 pawn, and now just bishop to g2. Wei Yi says, all right, let's just get our king to a safer square. King to f8. He says, I'm just going to artificially castle kingside here, even though my kingside is completely ruined. And while you could maybe go after the a2 pawn here, it's a pretty crazy position. You could go something like queen a3, attack the pawn, attack the rook, but it's nothing spectacular. Like captures, you could capture here, then rook to b1 or rook to a1, and I mean, for the price of that one pawn, you're not really impressing anyone. You're even just going to allow rook to a1 and rook to b1, and it's going to be white putting up all the pressure. So after bishop to g2, we goes king to f8. We have queen to h4, going after the f6 pawn once again, as it's now undefended. King to g7, and now knight to d2, saying, okay, I might go knight e4, attack the queen. I might even play queen captures on f6 check, just to win a pawn, maybe, and then a nice check picks up the queen. Maybe even that's an option. So queen back to e7 by Wei Yi, and now with the move that I found to be the most impressive probably in the entire game, bishop captures on c6. I mean, if you look at this position, you're probably thinking, well, this bishop is just a spectacular piece, and the knight here, it's doing nothing. Like, can't go here, can't go here, can't go here, can't go here. Like, it's really doing nothing. I mean, if you remaneuver it here, again, it can't go anywhere. But, you know, with a few moves to remaneuver your pieces, it could actually become a nice defender. Like, maybe if the bishop moves, you somehow put it to e6, it could be used for defense. And Aravindh is not planning on using his bishop to attack the black king. So, taking that into consideration, bishop captures on c6, b captures, and now look at this, pawn to g4. He's saying, I'm going to play rook to g1 and go after that black king. The knight might come to e4, to g3, to f5, to h5. How are you to defend your king, good sir Wei Yi? Well, Wei Yi says, let's see what you got. Rook h to g8, knight to e4, and now bishop to d5. Look at this. Why is Aravindh self-pinning here, basically allowing bishop to d5? Well, it's because he's not. Knight to g3. He offers a rook for this beautiful knight to f5 check to win Wei Yi's queen. And Wei Yi says, all right, king to h8. Now if you go knight f5, I'm just going to move the queen to e6, and you have nothing there. So look at this. This is, again, I thought bishop captures on c6 was probably the greatest move of the game. This is either my second most favorite, or it could be even the most favorite. I still haven't decided because the analysis is very fresh for me. Look at this, castles king side. And looking at this move, you might be thinking, does this Aravindh gentleman know even how to play chess? Why would you willingly castle, you know, I mean, this cannot be good against a player like Wei Yi. But I mean, it's actually very, very interesting. And Wei Yi plays something that you'd never think Wei Yi would play. Even taking into consideration the situation on the clock, 41 minutes for Aravindh, he's playing much faster than Wei Yi. You'd still expect some sort of a kingside attack. I mean, there's the bishop, there's the rook, but Wei Yi plays bishop captures on a2. And it's definitely another way to play this game. I mean, you win a pawn, you have a passed pawn, you push the passed pawn, you win the game. So even that is possible. But worth exploring is definitely mounting a kingside attack. So let's see what happens here. Let's say c4. Okay, you challenge the bishop, bishop e6, h3. Strengthen the pawn here. Now you double up on the g file and you prepare some sacrifices. Let's say king h2, because now knight f5 is not an option. You will just capture, the g pawn is pinned. So let's say you move the king. Let's say you know, a bishop is sacrificed, something like this, and queen h3, only move that doesn't lose the game for Aravindh. And basically you would get this, where it's a very equal position, but I don't know. I guess I would always choose black here. Probably the knight is incredibly strong, but I don't know. Just looks very, very, very hard to play with. Like, probably because the rooks have access to the open files, that's why. But some like queen f8, rook g6, I mean, it looks nice, but objectively it's a draw. So that's one of the lines that could have happened easily. But Wei Yi, like I said, not a move I would expect him to play. Bishop captures on a2, and now pawn to c4. Aravindh traps the bishop, sort of, on a2, and queen to e6. Wei Yi now goes after the c4 pawn. We have pawn to h3, and for the moment, the c4 pawn is not up for grabs. If you capture the c4 pawn, then the idea was rook captures, and after queen captures, now just queen captures on f6, and that's it. Now you resign. So after h3, rook to g6 was played, defending the f6 pawn. So queen captures and f6 is no longer a threat. And now rook f to d1. And what I found, again, to be very, very interesting is that Wei Yi sort of forgot why he played rook to g6 here, because now he played pawn to f5. And pawn to f5 is not the best way to play. Now he could just capture on c4, and that's it. He's up 2 pawns. If he doesn't get checkmated, I guess he's the one playing this for a win. But instead, he played pawn to f5. And he sort of Jedi mind tricks Aravindh, because Aravindh misses rook to d8 check. And rook to d8 check is very strong here, because after, let's say, captures, captures, and captures rook to g8, you have this annoying queen a5, which comes with an attack on the bishop. And now there's nothing better than to sacrifice the bishop for the attack. Captures, let's say, queen captures, g captures on h3, and after something like king h1, it's an extra piece. There's no attack here. c4 stops any queen to d5 action, and I guess it could be interesting, but all of these squares are covered. There's no way to grab hold of the diagonal. If you play something like c5, you prepare a nice check. Like literally anything can be played. It doesn't matter. You give a check, queen to d5, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So rook to d8 check would have been annoying, to say the least. But here we have pawn to f3. He is convinced by Wei Yi that is no way to continue, and probably playing against Wei Yi's clock a little bit. We have rook 8 to g8, and now rook to d8. But now it's not as powerful. It does not come with check. Plus also the g4 pawn has been strengthened. We have f captures on g4, h captures, and now bishop captures on c4. Wei Yi grabs another pawn. Rook captures on g8, and the rook captures on g8. We have king to f2, and now comes bishop to b5. And again, Wei Yi, I guess he played not true to his style. I'm guessing the king side attack would be more true to his style. But okay, he is 27-55. He is, an elite player. Probably he decided that, okay, it's a free pawn. We're just going to push and win the game that way. And here with bishop to d5, that still can be the case. It's a move that everything is defended, and now you start pushing your pawn. And even if pawn to e4, it's probably some sort of a draw. Let's say bishop to b3, and now white just starts being annoying. The threat being captures, and then queen f6 check, which would lead to a draw. And if you try to escape with the bishop, the rook just follows you, like rook a3, bishop to c4, rook to c3, bishop to a2. And so on. So that's one way to do it. Wei Yi probably wanted to avoid that. He played bishop to b5, and said that probably, okay, now there's nothing white can do. Now we just play for the win. And Aravindh played knight to e4, which is not the best way to play. I could ask you to pause the video, but it's such a long line. Probably you guys have an idea what's the best move. Even Aravindh knew what the best move here. Probably he just didn't want to invest too much time calculating, as Wei Yi is below the 3-minute mark. But I will show it. Rook to h1 is the way to go. You threaten mate, and now the problem is if you go rook to g7, that's just that's just not a very good move. Knight is coming to f5, and that's it. You either give up the exchange or you get checkmated. So the real question is, after rook to h1, what is h6? Probably why he decided against it, but I will show a very nice win. Knight to f5, you attack the pawn once again. Rook to g6, you defend, and now look at this. Queen to d8 check. King to h7, and now queen to f8. Again, okay, there's a triple attack on the pawn, and it's defended 3 times. So where is the win? Well, the win is after black makes a move. Let's say queen f6, you will play pawn to e4, and once black plays a move, something, a5, because you have to keep an eye on that h6 pawn. The bishop is just an observer here. Rook to h5, preparing pawn to g5, and there's no way to take care of that. g5, and that's it. There's now four pieces are attacking the h6 pawn, and that's it. You resign here. If you capture with the rook, then you just start capturing. Your captures, and even a nice knight to e7 checkmate, for example. But Aravindh missed that. Interestingly, you can start with the rook h1 or knight to f5. I guess rook h1 is a bit more natural. It comes with a mate threat, but he played knight to e4. And I guess with Wei Yi's little time on the clock, you cannot blame him. I mean, you're thinking, okay, I put a knight on f6, rook on h1. I mean, it's game over. But Wei Yi is one resilient player. And here, f5, again, is the move that probably everyone would play because it will give queen access to the h7 pawn, but not Wei Yi. He now plays king to g7. Again, he's trying to make all the moves with this king as possible. Rook to h1, putting pressure on h7, and now queen to g6 defending, and now queen to e7, cutting off the black king and also threatening the e5 pawn. And you know, taking this entire position into consideration, we cannot not admire the bishop on b5. I mean, has there ever been a more useless piece than a light square bishop in chess? It's just amazing these situations the light square bishops find themselves in. But okay, queen to e6, hoping, dreaming of a queen trade, but no, queen g5 check, we have king to f8, and now queen back to d2. Again, having access to d8, rook to g6, beautiful defensive resource by Wei Yi, saying, okay, if you grab a pawn, I'm just going to play queen d5, and I mean, I'm up 2 pawns, I don't need all of these pawns, I just need to survive and then start pushing my past a pawn. But Aravindh says, nope, queen to d8 with check, queen to e8 blocking, and now queen to h4. Still a very, very difficult position. Queen to c7 is the most precise way, but queen to h4 is played, and now look at this, pawn to h6, and all of a sudden the position is equal. You know, from that chaos and that madness, the position is now equal. We have rook to d1. You know, it's easy to say equal when we have the, you know, the comfort of our good friend the engine leading the way, but you still have to play this. And it's interesting that Wei Yi played so many moves with the king this game that you'd expect a king g7 now. Everything is defended, this is defended, this is defended. You get the king out of the way, but no, Wei Yi played queen to e6, and now he again allows the win. Queen to d8 with check, and now king to g7. Now, the real tricky move here is probably what Wei Yi missed, I don't know, but is that if queen to e8 is played, now queen to c7 comes with the threat of rook to d8, and after you move the king, there's rook to d8, and now after you move the queen, look at this, queen to b8, and now you get checkmated with the knight covering f6, that's it. And if you play f5 to free up space for your king, then the queen attacks on the 7th rank. This is check, the 8th rank is covered, you're gonna go queen f7, and now just a nice checkmating attack. Queen captures on e5, rook f6, knight captures, queen counters, rook d7 check, king g6. You can win the queen, but you don't really need to. You can just checkmate the black king. Queen g3 check, king h5, and queen to g4 will be checkmate. So yeah, there's that. And that is what Wei Yi missed. So after queen d8 check, he played king to g7, and now the move you had to find, rook to d6, attacking the queen, attacking the rook, and now after queen to c4, because where do you put the black queen? Now is the actual move you had to find in order to play queen to d8 check followed by rook to d6, and that is rook captures on g6. And now the black king is getting checkmated, at least. F captures on g6, queen to f6 with check, king to h7, queen to a7 with check, king to h8, and now how do you finish this? You can't really go knight to f6 because queen captures on e2, so look at this classy move that Aravindh plays that basically forces instant resignation, that is king to g3. And it was in this position on move 44 that Wei Yi resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. So now queen captures on e2 does not come with check, so if you play it, you're just gonna face queen f8 check, king h7, and knight to h7 checkmate. And if you try anything else, well, what else is there to try? You could try blocking with queen to g8 right away, but then just knight f6 attacks the queen. If you move the queen somewhere weird, then you get checkmated on h7, and if you try to defend, then you just give a nice check. The king has nowhere to go, you have to give up the queen, and that will again be checkmate. And the most resilient line that I think is the most beautiful, I will also show it, is that if you try h5 and create some sort of, you know, breathing room for your king, this is met with knight f6, and now after a couple of checks, queen to f4 check, king to h4, queen to h3 check, king to g5, and now queen to f4 check, you will actually go to g6. King captures on g6, and there is no way for you to go after the white king. There is no bishop d3 check. The pawn is stopping that. There are no checks with the queen. And once you make a move to maybe try and threaten something, there are well, this is checkmate, this is checkmate, this is checkmate, this is checkmate, this is checkmate. You can choose which one you prefer. I like maybe this one or this one, and that would basically be it. But yeah, what a classy way to finish the game. King to g3. I mean, the game of moving kings, if you will, where he made so many moves with the king. Aravindh also not far behind. Definitely a beautiful game, and I'm very happy that so many of you have suggested. Like I said, the story about not covering it right away, I was a little bit busy over the weekend. I was playing a little tournament myself, and yeah. Good game by Aravindh. Also, you guys requested his game against Vincent. It's also a crazy one, and I will show that one next. So no worries. And for the moment, we're in the middle of the tournament. Aravindh and Pragnananda are leading the tournament. They've faced each other yesterday, and their game ended in a draw. So it was a nice clash of leaders. And we will continue showing their games and also any other game that will be very nice. And also, I thought this would be a very nice opportunity for us to check out the world, well, basically the players that are ranked 2700 and above, as that changes on a daily basis. So we do have some changes. Magnus still chilling with 2833, Hikaru with 2802. Those are the only two 2800 players in the world. Then Gukesh, he is currently a world number 3 with 2787. Not just on a live rating list, also on the actual ratings list. Not a lot of changes in the top. Caruana, Arjun, Abdusattorov. Then Prague is on +6. He shoots up not three, but one place to number 7, and Wei Yi dropped out to world number 10 after his 2 losses in the Prague Masters. Again, not a lot of changes. Then we have Aravindh on +9. He's currently on live ratings 2740, goes up 6 spots. Then not a lot of changes. Kwang Liam Leo loses something. Anish lost something a little bit. Hans, nothing in particular. Yeah, not a lot of people playing above 2700. Only the hungry youngsters. But yeah, currently on the day that I'm making this video, there are 31 players that are rated 2700 and above. Wang Hao being the lowest rated one, 2701, and Magnus being the highest rated one, 2833. So yeah, always exciting stuff happening in the chess world. Very happy that you suggested this game, and I'm very happy that I've shown it. I hope I covered all of the nice lines, as that's what I usually try to do. And yeah, that's it. Get ready for the next one. I would like to thank Janko Popovic, Kushan for Pushun, Priscilla Woodley, Gerhard Homer, and David Gasparian for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thankful for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions and whatever else happens in the chess world. Thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day. And sorry if it's a bit of a longer video, but I mean, you've seen the lines. See you soon.